So today we're going to do a pretty easy activity since there isn't a lot of news going on right now and a lot of the spots are pretty much already filled. We already know kind of where the big players are going. I've just made this like tier list in order to like kind of rank where they are at this point. I will note that there's a lot of like variance right now with like where the EG players are going to go. So at this point, I have them like all in a very particular space, but that doesn't mean that the situation can change. I think that they can go to like better spots, given like EG's compromises with letting them go or trading them. We're going to talk about Demon 1. Now, Demon 1 literally just won champions. Like, you could see the picture that I chose for him. He has the trophy. To find the news that like EG would like try to sell off the roster or not let them play anymore, like it's pretty bad. And Demon 1 is in a really rough spot because slots are filling up quick and there's only about like one team that's really interested in him and some of the other players. So I'm gonna put him on bad simply because at the moment things are not looking great for them. Ardis, I'm gonna put him at good simply because like he's going back to his old Na'Vi core, and that is kind of like the style of play where like he belongs. I mean, those guys have been proven. They won Masters Copenhagen. They're kind of like the optic of EU or EMEA, I'm sorry. And I think his move to that is going to be like pretty good. I don't see him being like a huge game changer, but like I said, Ardiis going back to EMEA, it's gonna just improve Na'Vi, even if it's just a little bit. Unfortunately, Aspas has chosen to not stay with Loud and instead has chosen to sign with Leviatan. And my goodness, when I say that I was shocked when I heard the news of Leviatan, I definitely was. I was taken aback because I really had confidence that him and Saadhak would end up in NRG, but unfortunately that did not end up happening. And now he's with Leviatan with another person on this tier list that we'll get to in a bit. Benkai, immediate downgrade from going from Paper Rex to Global Esports. Benkai, great dude, funny dude. Being part of Global Esports, I feel like he's just trying to like prove himself again. The rough part is that with Paper Rex, he had a tier 1 team, and now he's kind of got a pretty weak roster to work with. I know that they're doing some restructuring and stuff like that, but like I said, I think it's going to be rough working with that Global Esports roster. Boostio is in the same unfortunate situation as Demon 1 and a lot of his teammates simply because he's in contract jail. There was a offer by 100 Thieves that EG ended up denying. There was no specific like numbers or anything like that, but unfortunately like it didn't work out between those two orgs. cNed, I'm gonna put him right there with Ardis in the good tier because it's kind of the same situation. cNed was not really gelling with the guys at Na'Vi, and so now he's looking for a different opportunity. Him going to Foot Esports is, I think, really a good move because he's going to be part of that Turkish team. I believe he's Turkish, and it just feels like a natural slot in for him. Now, how much they can improve, I don't know. I think that they were underdogs pretty much the whole time that they were at champions, and if they can go from being underdogs to being good, I think that that improvement in it of itself makes signing cNed worth. Ethan, he's right next to Demon 1 simply because they're tied to the same org. NRG and Evil Geniuses had a contract exchange plan for the like amount of like $100,000, but ended up not going through like because EG wanted more money. FNS, I'm going to put him at meh, and it's not because he's a bad player. It's because he's in a really weird situation where he's not going to be playing at that pro level anymore, and he doesn't want to play tier 2. I feel like he kind of got scared once he saw Ye going down to tier 2 and him not being able to prove himself. So he doesn't want to put himself in the same spot. But my whole philosophy is that Valorant moves very quick. People forget about like your previous accomplishments very quickly, and so him missing an entire year could be detrimental to his own career. I think wanting to build a roster from scratch would have worked out better if we were in an open system where like the best teams qualify, but we're not. We're in a franchise system, and there's going to be biases on what players to bring in. Like TenZ will always be a Sentinels player, and he will be one of those people who keep playing franchising simply because of the clout he brings. I think it's unrealistic to expect an org to choose you to rebuild an entire team, and I think it'll only happen if they just astronomically get destroyed. So he's waiting for his opportunity. I respect wanting to do that, but I think it's a bad career move. Jawgemo. Unfortunately, he's kind of in the same spot. I really want to put him at good because he has 2 destinations that he could be going to. But right now, he's in the same spot as all his brothers. JohnQT, great career move. Signing with Sentinels, it always brings you clout. I know he does a little bit of streaming. I've never watched his stream, but he's joining back with Kaplan. He's signed with Sentinels. I saw his interview the other day. He seems to have a great mind for the game. I mean, obviously he's really good because he took that MAD team to 2nd place in America's Ascension. So I think that was a really good move for him. JonahP, I'm just gonna grab all the other guys and put him on the great because G2 signed them and they're part of franchising. There's not much else to say. I mean, I heard something around the ballpark figure of over 35k a month for each of these players, which is just insane. And I do believe that like now that G2 are in, when that 2-year contract does end up finishing, they're gonna be one of those permanent franchise spots. Leaf is, I think he's in a bad situation simply because his only tie is to this G2 roster, and if the G2 roster ends up picking Jawgemo, which is going to put him over here in this great tier again, then Leaf is screwed because it's the only roster that's going to take him. All the other slots, maybe I could see it, maybe Leaf going to NRG, but that would be like a desperation move at that point. I do think that like if Jawgemo is let free, that the G2 roster is going to pick him up so he can play Raze for them. But right now, he's kind of in the same spot. He doesn't have a team. Cloud9 will not sign him again because he doesn't want to play for league minimum. Marved, good. He's gonna reunite with the Optic roster. Not Optic roster, I'm sorry. The former NRG core members, Crashies and Victor. I think this is a good move for him. He's probably gonna go back to that smokes role, and they are looking for an IGL. I don't think Marved is that necessarily solution, but they just lost Som as a controller, so they're probably gonna bring the guy who they originally got replaced in the first place. So I think Marved going to NRG, good move for him. I wouldn't call it great. It's not like, this is like the bar for Optic, and he's just kind of meeting it. He's not doing anything to like make it better. Monyet, fantastic S tier, whatever you want to call it. I think this is a direct upgrade. He's gone from global esports as their best player to going to a roster with Paper Rex that is just simply amazing. All those guys are really good, and Monyet has big shoes to fill with replacing Jing. I think this is a fantastic career move for him, because if he does pop off, he'll probably be one of the best players in APAC. Som, good move. And I know there's going to be questions about like, why do you have Som at good and FNS at meh? I think the simple answer is FNS is just trying the streaming thing. I know he's putting in the work and he's committing to it, but I don't know if it'll work out. A lot of people watch Som because he is like very funny and entertaining and has been doing it for a while, so he has a lot of experience. FNS, this is his first year. It's kind of an unproven territory for him. I find him funny. I find him insightful because he just has a great mind for the game. But I don't know. I only see like maybe like 3 or 4k people max, and that's off of like Som. because Psalm will have like 8,000 people sometimes watching him. So yeah, he's kind of riding his coattails, not trying to say that in a negative way. It's just like he's feeding off of Psalm at the same time. Saadhak, I have him at meh just because like nothing changed with him. He didn't take any chances. He staying with the same team with Gawanzin as of right now, but probably 100% less into his in my mind. Who they're going to add as a duelist I think is rough, but I think they're gonna go with 2 E's to the duelist role and Ga to the smokes role. So I think it's gonna be an interesting change. Either that or they're gonna sign somebody from like free agency. Sayf, I kind of want to put him at good. I kind of want to put him at meh. I think I'm gonna end up putting it at meh because he's going to a very unproven team. Like going from Team Liquid with a lot of those players who were really good to like now kind of newish roster with Vitality. It's a little weird, but like Sayf is cracked. I think him individually, he'll probably do well. I don't know about the rest of the team. Shyy, oh man, this is a really tough spot because I want to put him in meh just because like I think he's a decent player, but part of me wants to put him at bad because he's signed with Crew, and I think that's a really bad move for him to do. I think he was better in Leviatan, but I also don't think Leviatan wanted to keep him either. I don't know. It's a tough decision for me. I don't want to put him at bad. I think I'm just gonna put him at meh. TenZ. Oh, before the sideshow video, I think I would have put him at meh. After the sideshow video, I think he's in a bad position. He's in a bad position because he didn't do that well in last year's VCT, and I don't see him improving all that much. I mean, I could be wrong. Like VCT America could start like next week, and he'll be cracked at it or something like that. But I don't know, that sideshow video is just in my mind the entire time, and it's making me think that like if he doesn't make it as a VCT player, he'll probably be like a 6-man or something like that. And I think in that sense, like that's a perfect role for him because he'll get to keep doing all the streaming stuff. I think people will just watch like TenZ play Valorant for like forever. He's not my cup of tea, but you know, I can't deny the man has talent for streaming. If he goes back to streaming, I mean, he's already confirmed to be on the roster, but I think it's a make or break year for him, and I think that puts him in a bad position. Tex, meh for me, just because like I don't know what he's doing signing with Leviatan. I think like if he would have stayed with the guard guys, I think it would have been great. Even if he had gone to like NRG, I would have put him at good just because of the chemistry change. But like going to Leviatan, being behind Aspas as a duelist, maybe running double duel, I don't know. And I hear people in my community tab saying like, oh, well, he played Sentinel, he played more supportive roles. Like, yeah, okay, I could see that. Like, I could see him going back to that supportive role, but I think he really shined as a duelist, so it's just a shame seeing him like go back to that, especially when like he could have had like a really star role on NRG or something like that. Vanity, again, just like another meh move in my opinion. Nothing against the guy, but yeah, he kind of lost his job with Cloud9, and now he's back with Cloud9. He's probably playing league minimum, but I think maybe league minimum is probably better than some challengers teams. I don't know, like salaries for tier 2 are also not public, so I have no clue like what they're paying top performers in tier 2. So Vanity for me is a meh right now. Zellsis, good roster move. Honestly, like signing as a 6-man is a step down in terms of competitiveness, but in terms of like content creation and him being able to stream, I think this is a good move for him. I didn't particularly think he was amazing or anything like that, but I think he's really solid player, and him being in the substitute position makes it to where, like, if for some reason one of the players in Sentinels is kind of lacking, they could just slot in Zellsis, and he is a proven commodity at the tier 1. Now, the one everyone's been waiting for, Shyy. Shyy is back in tier 1 Valorant, and I really want to put him in good because it's just great to see him back in Valorant. But I think the unfortunate reality of it all is that he is the same position as TenZ. Two players who were considered the greatest players in Valorant history at some point. People who like have like immense followings, like this guy right here, Shyy, that's my favorite player. No matter what happens in the future, Shyy will always be my favorite player because he's one of those guys who got me into Valorant. Marved is one of those guys too. Crashies, Victor, FNS as well. But I think Shyy is in a really rough spot because he is probably going to Bleed eSports, which is an Ascension team, and yes, they've made a couple of changes. Him and someone else are going to be joining the roster, but I think it's rough. I think it's rough for Shyy because if he doesn't prove that he belongs, if he has a meh year, like, it could be wraps for him as far as his professional career. I think if he puts in the effort, he could be on the level of FNS in terms of streaming, or he could become like a coach for like an online coach basically. But at this point, I think he's in a really rough situation because he has to show everybody that he is and can be that cracked aimer. With the meta revolving a little bit more around chamber, I think it'll work out for him. Do I think he's going to be back to that like god tier mode? No, but I do think that he'll be good. He'll be good, especially like in APAC. I don't want to say that's the weakest region because EMEA does exist, but yeah, I think he's in a rough position. So that's it. That is the tier list. Let me know what you think. I'll share the link to the tier list in the description below, and then you can try out to do your own tier list, and it'd be cool to see. Follow me on Twitter if you want to send me your tier list as well, at ZephVLR, and yeah, send me your list. I'll comment, and then give me some reasoning behind some of these changes that you've made to my list. I think it'd be cool. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please hit it with a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.